Well, yes, in focus we are having the month of June, and of course the most important thing is the change in the shareholding pattern. Now we have taken a list of D-Street investors who are very astute in nature and very revered upon, and this is why it is important, is because especially in the mid cap and the small cap spaces, it kind of gives retail investors a window where they're actually investing. Now of course in our analysis we have taken the shareholding pattern for the month of March, then compared it with the month of June. We have taken it from the exchanges, and whatever the difference has been there, we have been able to put it as an addition or the deletion. But without further ado, now let's jump into one of the most important ace investors, Rekha Jhunjhunwala, who has actually increased the stake in Tata Communications by roughly 5 basis points, while on the other side in the small cap space we have Raghav Productivity Enhancers. That's where a selling of 11 basis points is there. Now do remember, this is a very important thing, is the stocks generally do run up whenever there is a big marquee investor entering in. So a lot of times what happens is there is a price factoring in as well, but it's important as retail investors to look at where the marquee investors are investing or kind of selling their stocks. Up next in the list we are having Radhakishan Damani, and the stock is United Breweries. The stock has been in focus. Of course, a lot of regulatory changes are happening in the state of Karnataka, and there was a negative reaction to it, but on the contrary, the ace investor has increased his stake by roughly 2 basis points if you compare it on a sequential basis. So an interesting take. And apart from this, now let's move on to the third investor. In the astute investor, we have Dolly Khanna, and a name especially in coherence with the small caps names. That is what it's all famous for. And then over here we see 3 companies coming up: Nitin Spinners, Mangalore Chemicals, and Talbros Automotive, where all these 3 companies, the stake has been increased and they range between 3 to 7 basis points. But when it comes to Talbros Automotive, there is a stark increase of 47 basis points, and roughly the stake comes to 1.5%. So we talked about ace investors such as Rekha Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Radhakishan Damani, and also Dolly Khanna. But now let's move on to a new group of investors who have been buzzing of late in the small cap space especially, and that is Ashish Kacholia. Now, which are the 2 stocks which should be in focus for his portfolio? That is something which you'll be watching out for, and the first one is Shaily Engineering Products. Over here there has been a kind of a profit booking, you could say, as he has sold 1% of his stake over the last 3 months in the first quarter of FY24, and his current stake comes to roughly 5.5%. Apart from this, in the small cap space, we also have United Drilling Tools, and over here the stake earlier in the month of March was roughly 2.8%, and now the stake is not being shown. That means the shareholding pattern, either his stake has gone below the 1% mark, or there has been a complete exit in his portfolio. And lastly but not the least, we have investor Vijay Kedia's portfolio is something for our analysis, and over here we see there has been a profit booking, and of course we have seen a lot of small cap rally happening all throughout, all indices hitting their lifetime high levels, and even the mutual fund data is something which we saw the highest inflows coming in the small cap fund category of roughly more than 5,500 crores. Now that is coming at an all time high level. So of course the animal spirits are high, the small cap indices are going high, so of course profit booking is also there. And we can see over here for Vijay Kedia, Elecon Engineering and Talbros Automotive, in both the companies there has been profit booking. He has roughly reduced his stake between 9 to 16 basis points for both of these companies. But on the other hand, we have Elecon Engineering, where his stake has actually increased by almost 39 basis points, coming at almost 1.68%. So overall we see a lot of action coming in the small cap space. Firstly, we have the profit booking, and also there are certain names, especially in the capital goods, and also you could say certain consumption names, and of course the infra space. That is where the action is happening. Smart money is moving, and of course the markets are near the record high level. So it will be very interesting to watch out for the further shareholding updates for the month of June.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.